Yes, Praveen sir, you can continue.
Yes. So what I was saying was like we have been working, and then thanks to Baba Saheb's vision, and then all other icons who have sacrificed their lives, we are here today. And then India has become independent in 1947, and then today the population of scheduled castes on average is about 20% of Indian population in scheduled tribes is about 7.5 to 8 or 9%. So I was reading the book written by Sukhdev Thorat. So education statistics for scheduled castes and scheduled tribes, and it was really shocking and then saddening to note that even after 70 years of independence, the condition of scheduled castes is not greatly improved, has not greatly improved. If you see the land holding, 1% of Indian population has the 53% of assets. Please note this, please remember these things. 1% of Indian population has 53% of the assets, and 10% of Indian population has more than 78% of the assets. So 65% of the scheduled castes even today have no land. So they are landless laborers, and there is only 3% of population which has more than 5 acres of land. So our model of development has been more or less agriculture based model. So in and 75% of the scheduled castes even today, scheduled castes and to some extent scheduled tribes, scheduled castes stay in the villages even today. 75%, only 25% are urbanized. So these are the very grim statistics we have today. So after 70 years of independence, even today, 65% of the scheduled castes do not own land, and our literacy rate is about 65 to 70%. And very rarely, we have Dalit billionaires or some millionaires or so on and so forth. I think there is something fundamentally wrong in the way we are thinking and in the way we are doing things as a community, and as individuals, as emancipated individuals, and as a community. We have a lot of social movements like Ambedkarite movements and Dalit Panthers. We have a lot of movements, and every movement has come up in the spectrum for a purpose. So these movements have achieved, sometimes they have achieved their purpose, sometimes without achieving their purpose, they got merged with major political parties, and sometimes those movements got erased from the history because their leaders lost interest, and some of them unfortunately perished. So these are some of the stark realities of development. So our evolution. So if we continue to do like this, my worry, which is giving me sleepless nights, is my worry is if we continue to develop at the pace that we have been developing for the last 70 years, I think the day is not very far when we will be thrown back to slavery, with the industrial revolution 4.0 knocking our doors, with the rich becoming richer and further richer, and poor are appearing to be getting richer, but nowhere they are close to the ultra rich people or rich people. So then, with the technology rapidly invading our lives, be it mobile phones, be it internet, or be it robotics, be it artificial intelligence, or be it machine learning, and so on and so forth. So, and with so many, of course, this pandemic is only one episode in the entire lifetime. So I don't want to talk more about COVID times, but with these things happening 25 to 30 years down the line, or by 2050, if we don't radically change the way we deal with our own lives and our life of our communities, I think we are going to be enslaved again. That is my danger. So that is my worry. And to overcome that, I have some ideas. That is the reason why I wanted to, share a few, because I may forget some of the ideas. So I thought I should just a second. Sonika, are you able to see my PowerPoint presentation?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's visible.
Okay, good. All right. So I have already, shared these things. So if you Okay, now let me go to slideshow mode.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Is that okay now?
Yeah, fine.
Yeah, perfect. So
Perfect.
if you type Dalits in your mobile phone and go to images, so see what kind of images you find. Caste system, untouchables. One mother is near a heap of garbage along with animals. One child without clothes. Then you have our mothers and then sisters, famished, looking famished, and then your brothers are fighting for rights on the streets. And our children, you can see their attire. Then you can see our mothers with no life in their faces. They have been robbed of this happiness and life, and then they are looking for some messiah on the hope with a hope. And you can see the children and no, this is not a common scene, or this in the rural areas it is still a common scene, unfortunately, in many interior areas. Although in urbanized areas it is slightly better, but migrant laborers, if you take their case, at least 50 to 60% of the migrant laborers have been from these communities. So by seeing at the migrant laborers, you can imagine what kind of the development trajectory or developmental stage our people are in. So we did not want to reinforce this stereotype. So this is one my first idea. We must stop using this Dalit word. This is my first idea. So it might be very difficult decision, but this idea is not giving you any happiness. It is giving you a lot of pain and lot of trauma. Many people say because we are 3,000 different castes, and then we cannot come under the same umbrella. So that's why we thought we should have a Dalit word. But Dalit word is always bringing those pain, brokenness, oppression. So we should go away from this idea. So we must discover some new word, not necessarily Dalit word. We must have an identity that inspires, our next generation. So in our society, we thought we should have a Swero in our residential schools and hostels. So Swero network, that's why it has become extremely popular, very rapidly expanding, because the moment you say Swero, it is giving a Himalayan aspirations. It is giving the aspiration to become a doctor. It is giving aspiration to become an engineer, or go to Mount Everest, or go to engineering colleges, go to great universities, and then do a lot of great things in life, or be a topper in the university, or be a topper in the classroom. So this kind of new blood, new energy is flowing into the vessels of a person who is re-engineering his or her identity. So I think we must have a radical relook on the way we identify ourselves is one idea that I have. So we have a strict 10 commandments. So the first commandment is I am not inferior to anyone. Second commandment, I shall be the leader wherever I am. Third is I shall do what I love and be different. Fourth is I shall always think big and aim high. Fifth is I shall be honest, hardworking, and punctual. Sixth is I shall never blame others for my failure. Seventh is I shall neither beg nor cheat. Eighth is I shall repay what I borrow. And ninth is I shall never fear the unknown. And the 10th is I shall never give up. So we have, this is the operating system of a Swero network. So I wish if there are much better commandments, let us do, let us rework on these commandments. So, but what I'm trying to say, the community as a whole, right from Kashmir to Kanyakumari, Dwarka to Itanagar, the community as a whole must have a common minimum program, must have a common operating system. You might be a Hindu, you might be a Buddhist, you might be, some other, belong to some other religion, or a Muslim, or some other religion, or Christian religion, but all of us, if you draw inspiration from Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, if you draw inspiration from Savitribai Phule, Jyotirao Phule, or Kanshiram, or all the icons who are responsible for whatever today, you must have a common minimum program, and you must have a common operating system. So 10 commandments can be a very good reference point in this scenario, is something which I thought I should propose. So unless some of us do the impossible, the community is not going to believe us. So if you don't do impossible things, community will not believe us. What are those impossible things? Not only going to Mount Everest, but placing Baba Saheb's tasveer on the top of Mount Everest. This is something unimaginable for all of us. But today, one boy and one girl, or many after that, many people have gone there. So, but they not only went there, they paid the tribute to our icon. So our source of inspiration or source of energy there. And then second one is IAS officer SR Shankaran. So what I'm trying to say, the community should get positive vibes when you say I am from such and such community, I'm such and such area, then I'm doing this, and then it is my hobby, or whatever you say. So this kind of new ideas and new source of inspiration we must have. Not one person, not two-person. We must need lakhs and lakhs of people in the current times. So, for example, we have something called Blue Crystal. Earlier, we used to get only one or two doctors. Sneha has just mentioned about it. I'm just repeating what I'm saying. So, what she has said. So, every year we used to have about only 2 to 3 doctors. I'm just telling about doctors. But now, every year, we are able to produce at least 100 doctors from our 70 to 80 doctors from our institutions every year. So these people, when they go to medical colleges, when they go to post graduation, when they come back and then set up hospitals like you guys are doing, and then when they work in the hospitals, imagine what kind of source of, what kind of inspiration will they give to the communities is something which all of us we must think collectively. So these are some of the impossible things. Like for example, this boy is a sailor. His father is a hotel waiter. So, but he's sailing, and then now Indian Army has picked him up. And you see, our former Defense Minister Srimati Nirmala Sitharaman is congratulating this boy. Like that, we have 7 to 8 students who are ace sailors. Of them, 50% of them are girls, and then they, whenever they get time, they go and sail in, Arabian Sea or Bay of Bengal. Where is Telangana? Where is Arabian Sea? So that is a kind of great things. The children, when you support them as a community, as emancipated people, as an institution, as a government, these are things that are going to happen. This girl is an orphan. Her name is Shushma. She has become a skydiver. She is studying in St. Francis in a degree final year. And then where did she get the courage from? Who gave her the energy? So it's all because of the collective action. She thought, I have so many lakhs of people behind me. Even if I fall off from sky, nothing is going to happen to me. She went to Arizona, and then she did, this skydiving exercise. This is only symbolism, not that by just doing skydiving, by just diving from the sky, your community get emancipated? Certainly not. But you will become a reference point. That's what I'm trying to say. You will become a reference point. So that reference point is extremely important for the marginalized communities today. So earlier, Delhi University was a distant dream to follow for all of us. Only children of IAS officers, IPS officers, doctors, engineers. Then you have MLAs, MPs, ministers. They used to send their children to Delhi University, Lady Shriram College, Miranda House, SRCC. Then you have Saint Stephen's. But today we have 250 students studying in Delhi University. That's what I'm trying to say. When you dream, dream big, and when you dream big, work hard to make that dream true. And that is what our children have done. And every year we are sending about 150 students to Delhi University. This is a third batch of students going to Delhi University, and they're from the poorest of the poor families. Have you ever imagined that the people who are children of the children who are the kids of stone cutters and the daily wage laborers wear this dress and work in naval dockyards or work in Indian Maritime University? Never. But today we have 70 to 80 students every year. They are going to Indian Maritime University wearing this dress and working hard to become captains and then scientists in naval engineers, or experts in navigation science. So this is called as capturing the imagination of the poorest of the poor people. So this is my story. This is my mother, right? So I'm the guy who is standing is me. Then I studied in social welfare hostels, right? Then working very hard for so many years, so I could complete my graduation, post graduation with the gold medal. Then I worked very hard for 16 hours a day. Then I became an IPS officer in 1995. Then today, whenever I sign checks in my office, every month I sign checks worth 29 crore rupees. 29 crore rupees. When I was a student in social welfare hostel, see the second slide, I used to get 2 or 3 or 5 or 6 rupees as pocket money from my mother. I'm talking about late 1970s and 80s. Today, I'm able to sign the checks worth 29 crores. This is my story. This can be anybody's story. This can be Sonika's story. This can be Sneha's story. This can be everybody's story. But these stories have to be told to the communities. Unfortunately, these stories are trapped in the four walls of our homes. These are trapped in the brains. These are trapped in four walls of our homes. And then these are trapped only in our 2 to 3 villages, 2 to 3 homes. No, they should become the national stories. They should become the international stories, so that every member, चाहे आप कश्मीर से होगा, चाहे आप गुजरात से होंगे, चाहे आप नागपुर से होंगे, या चाहे आप छत्तीसगढ़ से होंगे, चाहे आप राजस्थान से होंगे, मगर आपको ये स्टोरी का बारे में थोड़ा बहुत जानकारी रहना चाहिए। एक सिनेमा तारा या सितारा के बारे में बात करने के बजाय आप एक डॉक्टर सोनिका बोधी के बोधी के बारे में बात कीजिए, डॉक्टर खुगानंदम के बारे में बात कीजिए, या डॉक्टर स्नेहलता के बारे में बात कीजिए, या कोई डॉक्टर कोई दूसरा मशहूर डॉक्टर है तो डॉक्टर इंजीनियर या जो भी है उसके बारे में बात कीजिए. सो अनलेस यू चेंज योर कन्वर्सेशन, our communities are not going to go into a developmental orbit. So this is my story. So now these are some of the ideas I want to leave. After that I will be see, I have I have a principle called quantum leap. Quantum leap is the principle where you take a huge leap. You have a huge step, so that you cover a lot of ground which you have not, otherwise would not be able to cover in the in the next 20 or 30 or 40 years. So for quantum leap, my target is about 25 years. From now 2020, by 2025, 2045 or 2050, if you want to be a community without any illiteracy, without anybody being illiterate, or without anybody begging on the streets for money, or without anybody waiting for someone to give any pension or build a home. So if people are made self-sufficient by 2040 or 45, there won't be our community also will become a very independent community. I'm not spreading hatred against any community, but I am talking to the community which has been which has been made as slaves. So that kind of situation is there. So if you have to make a quantum leap, what are the points that we need to look into? So I have two sets of solutions for this. One is, as a community, what can we do? Then second is, as a community, what can we request the government to do? Because we are all the taxpayers, and then we have every right to request the governments. So first, let me come to the community, because it is our ghar ki baat hai. This is our ghar ki baat. So we must discuss among ourselves as to what we can do. First thing, stop waiting for Messiah. Baba Sahib has done his job. You cannot ask Baba Sahib to come back again. He will not come back. He has already shown you the way. So you cannot ask Manyawar Kanshiram to come back. No, it is not possible. You cannot ask Mahatma Jyotirao Phule to come back. It's not possible. They are not going to come. They will not come. So, but you must stop waiting for a Messiah. You have to become your own Messiah. That is first point. Second point, I have already discussed, we must have a common minimum program. आप चाहे रावदासिया हो, या पे चाहे अरुंधतिया हो, चाहे चकलिया हो, चाहे पल्ला हो, या परया हो, माला हो, मादिगा हो, होलिया हो, or anybody for that matter, Pasi or Koli or whatever. So you may belong to any community, BC, SC, OBC, but you must have a common minimum program for next 25 years. What are your milestones? By 2025, I want to achieve this much. 2030, I want to achieve this much. Or 2040, I want to achieve this much. So that kind of measurable goals you must have, and then these, without any egos, without any problems, we should be able to share this common minimum program. This is something which I am very passionate about. Third thing, there must be a mandatory community service. You see, Israel, every guy who is above 18 years has to serve in army at least for 2 years. This is called as conscription. So similarly, everybody who claims that he is a beneficiary of Baba Sahib or beneficiary of all the icons, so he or she must be able to serve for the communities at least for 1 year without expecting anything. You may be from Chhattisgarh, but you should be willing to go to Chandigarh. You may be from Chandigarh, but you should be willing to come to Chundur. You may be from Wayanad, Kerala, but you should be able to go to Dwaraka. So what I'm trying to say here is, so this mandatory community service is very important. So where you go and then offer your knowledge, skills, and services with all those people who are going to be the beneficiaries of your benevolence. So this mandatory community service is very important. Like for example, we have in education, we have Teach for India. A lot of engineers, a lot of doctors, a lot of not doctors, but a lot of engineers, a lot of graduates, postgraduates, they come and then they offer their services at least for 2 years in the government schools. Same thing can we do? I think it is for the community to look into it. So early childhood education, this is totally neglected. Anganwadi could solve our problems only to 50%. Remaining 50%, it is for the community. Early childhood education is extremely important. Most of your doctors and most of your intellectuals, yeah, I don't want to re-emphasize on the importance of first 1,000 days. Early childhood education is extremely important. So as a community, we must not neglect. So we must have a common community syllabus, right from birth till the child attains 10 years or 15 years. What is that we are going to do? So we must know all those goals. Then similarly, every home must be school. Unfortunately, our people today, they are dependent on schools. By depending excessively on schools, you have forgotten your responsibility as a parent, particularly in rural areas, semi-rural areas, semi-urban areas, urban areas. Now with father and mother both are working and incomes rising, and then we are simply paying fees in the schools or sending them to some residential school and washing off your hands. This must not happen at all. We must we must become teachers in our homes. We must have a blackboard in our home. We must have library in our home, and then we must learn how to read, and then we must teach our children with whatever knowledge that you get out of reading. So that is very important. So every home must be a school, and there must be a school for parents as well. Today, most of the youths are marrying without any understanding about the responsibility of a parent, responsibility of being a husband, responsibility of being a wife. So, responsibility of generating income, responsibility of giving best possible care for the next generation. So today there is an urgent need among the marginalized to start a parenting school. So that is another, big idea I have. Then similarly, from I said already, from Kashmir to Kanyakumari, from Dwaraka to Itanagar, and then from Patna to your Bangalore. So everywhere we must have a common annual activity calendar. What is that annual activity calendar? What time you get up in the morning? Then what time you um, uh, start reading, and then what time you do your work, what time you go to your office or workplace, then what time you come back, and then how much time do you spend with your children, what are the important days to celebrate, what are the important days in your life. All these things have to be consciously created, and it has to be documented, and then you have to prepare a calendar and then give it to back to the communities and families. Similarly, we have more than, if I'm not wrong, we have more than 1 crore or 2 crore statues of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. But this is not the way we should be going. By mere installing the statues are not going to liberate us from the poverty. No. They are not going to liberate us from discrimination. No. But if every home decides that my child must become like another Ambedkar by reading, by writing, by talking about worldly things, by talking about world affairs, by writing about these things, probably, we will be probably going in the path of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. So for that, my solution is, instead of statues, we must have Ambedkar Vigyan Mandirs. Instead of statues, we must have circles. We must have study circles. I went to Nagpur. So one of my friends in IRS, he invited me to Nagpur. A lot of senior officers in Nagpur and Amravati, Yavatmal, what they do is they gather a lot of money, and then they are starting a lot of study circles, Jyotirao Phule study circles. So that kind of study circle, that kind of community action is urgently required, rather than just installing statues. Many mere installation of statues are not going to help us in any way. So then similarly, like government is levying taxes, you must also be able to levy some cess, a small charge, a small fee on every family in this country who is earning money, so that that money can become a community development fund, and then that community development fund can be spent on the education of the most talented and needy children if their parents are poor and are not in a position to support the education. Is something which we must, as a community, must think. So similarly, all those people, we have so many lakhs of people who have benefited from Ambedkar's vision, who have benefited from reservations, who have benefited from quota. Now it is a time for them to pay back to the community. How do you pay back? So if you have enjoyed reservation for about 3 generations or 2 generations, I think it is a high time that you must give up the reservations. So give the chance to others who are poorest of the poor. I gave up reservations for my children. My children, we have removed the reservation from our children, and then they are competing in open competition. So that that can be taken advantage of. Same quota can be used by someone who is not fortunate enough, like my children. So there could be from villages, there could be from children from manual scavenging families, or there could be anybody. So this kind of voluntary sacrifice must come from the community. That is one. Second thing, all the retired employees, what are you doing? Retired employees, you must be playing with your grandchildren, you must be taking care of your health. That is not a bad thing. But besides that, I think I expect retired employees must go back to the communities. Serving and retired employees, go back to the communities, tell your story, and encourage the children to follow your path, and then encourage the children to go much beyond what you have been able to, and unlock their potential. So as retired employees, you have that moral authority, you have time at your disposal. If you have health at your on your side, I think it is very easy for you to pay back, and then you can become really, really a great motivator of the masses. So my request to all the retired employees and the serving employees and all those people who are independently earning money, so you must go back to the community and pay. You must inspire the community by telling your story, by giving your contact number, by connecting them to various people who can give them job, who can give them mentorship, or who can connect them to higher education centers. So that is one thing that we must be working on. Similarly, I have already spoken about Dalit identity, and then its opportunities, its dangers, and what are the alternatives to Dalit identity, and what are the behavioral patterns that Dalit so-called new identity would bring us. So because this is very important, identity reengineering, if you don't do this identity reengineering, we are going to have a huge problem. Today, if you call a black African American as a Negro, then they feel very bad, they feel really offended. So probably after 20 or 30 or 40 years from now, even this Dalit identity also might become another derogatory identity. So before that becomes to that stage, probably it is high time that we start thinking on re-engineering our identity. Similarly, so there is a lot of discrimination. People are not able to go to the best institutes. We must leverage either online portals. We must create our own online portals for giving the best possible skill education to the people from our villages. So similarly, before we annihilate, Baba Sahib wanted annihilate the caste. Caste must be annihilated. I'm a big believer of annihilation of caste. But before we annihilate the caste, we must annihilate the fear. Today our communities are living in fear. So somebody is speaking in English, you are scared. Somebody is riding a horse, you are scared. Somebody coming in a car, you are scared. So somebody is living on a hilltop, you are scared. So somebody is speaking in a high voice, you are scared. So this fear factor, if you want to sit in the, if you are made to sit in the front benches, you are scared. So if you are a girl, you are scared. So this kind of a fear must be busted. It should be removed from our mindset. So there must be a lot of programs to remove this kind of fear factor from our communities. So similarly, saturate the streets. What do you mean by that? So in all our villages, there are a lot of walls. Please paint the pictures of achievers on the streets. This is what saturation of street. So suppose Sonika Bodhi, Snehalata, Dr. Kuganantam, or on any Dr. Sirisha. So these photographs must be there in every corner. ये मेरा बेटी है, ये हमारी बेटी है, ये एक डॉक्टर बन गई है, ये लोगों का और लोगों का हेल्थ का हिफाजत कर रही है. These kind of messages, if they are there in every community, no, you don't have to belong to that place. Even if people in Chandigarh also should be able to have the photograph of the doctors and the Malavat Purna or anybody for that matter, all the icons. So similarly, from Darjeeling se leke, you're up to this place, so Kerala, everywhere our community, so that there will be a reference point. Children will see the photographs. Oh, is she a doctor? So parents will, even though they are coolies, they will think that okay, now my child also has to become a doctor. So that's why I always tell, a lot of sanitation workers are women. So a lot of sanitation workers, so they always, now this COVID time or otherwise also, most of the sanitation workers are our people, and then they keep washing the streets or cleaning the streets and washing the streets. So we always, most of our students are from those families. We always tell those families, would you follow the path of your mother, or would you like to follow the path of B.R. Ambedkar? If you want to follow the path of B.R. Ambedkar, you have to go in this direction. So that kind of motivation, so that kind of frame of reference, your photograph will give. So this is another idea that I thought I should have. So instead of keeping the walls clean, or keeping the walls white or putting the names of putting the photographs of gods. Better you put the photographs of living legends so that the children follow the path of those living legends. So similarly, moratorium on money guzzlers. For birth we spend money, for death we spend money, for marriage we spend huge money, then for first marriage anniversary you spend money, then for second marriage your anniversary is spend money, for birth of your birthday of your dog also you are spending money. So all these money spending exercises must be ruthlessly cut down, and all that money that is saved must be given to Beam Vidyanidhi. So that Beam Vidyanidhi must fund the foreign education or best education of all our poorest of the poor children. So we must stop spending money uselessly, okay, without any reason. So similarly, we must go away from dowry. This is a high time that we should stop taking dowry, and then we must give up alcohol, and then we must give up domestic violence as well. So this is another idea I have. So these are some of the ideas I have for government. First is we must request the government for a national Dalit development mission with the 25 years as a target. Then we must have as many residential schools and colleges for our children. This is another idea. All of us we can request our local public representatives. And nutrition allowance for our mothers is extremely important for our children mothers, because if you don't get that nutrition at the very young age, it's very difficult for us to, our children to bridge that learning gap which with which they come to the higher education institutions. Then we must have a gifted students program. We must request the government to start a gifted student program for poorest of the poor children, so that those gifted children can be nurtured properly, their parents can be supported till they become celebrities. So we must have mobile laboratories and mobile libraries. Then we must convert all pre-matric hostels whose number is going down, and then they are not becoming very popular, they're losing their popular appeal. So we must convert all those pre-matric hostels into study rooms and then computer centers. And then we must invest heavily onto robotic language and coding language, and then robotics and so on and so forth. Similarly, we must have a lot of post-matric hostels, even if it is public-private partnership mode. We must have such post-matric hostels. Similarly, we must have a leadership institute. Now you are all leaders. So IADF is a leadership institute for doctors. Similarly, there are Ambedkar Caravan is a leadership institute. So leadership institute must create thousands and thousands of leaders with 360 degrees of knowledge, not necessarily SC/ST Prevention of Atrocity Act.
Hello.
Yeah. Hello, sir.
I sorry, Sonika. Again, there is power of
No
it.
problem, sir.
I have almost completed 70-75% of my
Okay.
presentation. So I think I'll stop here. And then
Okay.
I'll be very happy if you can throw this conversation open for
Yeah.
any suggestions.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Sorry about
No.
We have some questions.
Yeah, we have so many questions, sir, and actually we got a lot of good comments, and people are getting inspired by this your presentation and your speech. They are telling you are truly an inspiration, sir. So few questions are
Thank
there.
you. Yes.
Viewers want to know, like they are asking, how do you manage all this thing and establish sparrows?
So one is, I have the habit of consulting a lot of people like you guys, and I have the habit of listening to people in a big way, so that I don't believe that whatever I know is the knowledge, and then others do not know anything. So that kind of I don't have that kind of problems. So I learn a lot from people like you, and then I come back and then I reflect, and then I also read a lot of books written, not only written by Baba Saheb, but also the world leaders, and take the essence of those things, and then try to implement in a small way. So, but we have a very good team. Like for example, we have our Sneha here, and then Sirisha, Srikanth, Dr. Srikanth. I'm talking about Lifeline League, but otherwise, in other sectors also we have a very good team. But what really matters is your credibility. If you are not credible, if you are not sincere, and if you don't walk the talk, and whatever you do is time wastage, and then you are just cheating people. So I don't want to do
Yeah.
that. So
Yeah.
that will be, I just don't want to do that. So that's why probably people started believing in us. Yeah.
Sir, I have one question, sir.
Yeah.
We have
Yeah.
n number of organizations on the name of Ambedkar ideology, sir, in
Yes.
various. What is your advice to those organizations, sir? How they should work?
Very good question. See, I think all those organizations must take education as the first priority.
Yes.
I'm not saying that they should stop what they have been doing till recently, but at least I can say 50% of the organizations are just a letterhead and then visiting card organizations. Just because somebody is not given a leadership, that's why they have taken this organization, or just because they are not happy with their leadership, or just because they have ego clash with some leader, so they have started these organizations. So, but my request to all the organizations, not only one or two organizations, but all the organizations, to stop everything, or to if not stopping everything, at least take education and health as the top priority. For next 25 years, we should not be talking about anything except education and health. So if that is taken as a sole goal, so probably we will really improve. Like, for example, I'll tell you, there are in 1931 in China, Mao Zedong, he withdrew all his forces from all provinces, and then they went to Yan'an province. That's called as Long March. Okay, so they withdrew everybody, and then they went to Yan'an province, and then they started reflecting on what they have been doing for the last, previous 15, 20 years. So then they reflected, introspected, and then they found the new weaknesses, they found new opportunities, and then they started their journey back to all the provinces. And then after that, China got liberated from feudal forces in 1948. So similarly, today, marginalized organization, Baba Saheb has given us a very good, framework. That is Constitution, Indian Constitution. So you don't need any other, great framework. So you can operate within the four walls of Indian Constitution. Still, you can achieve your goals. So, but for that, you need to have a solid plan. So my message to all Ambedkarite organizations in this country: you are doing great jobs. You're doing great things, but can you take education and health as your top two priorities for next 25 years and mobilize all your resources? So for example, I went to Sant Guru Ravidas Janamdin on February 8th to Varanasi. I saw lakhs of people coming and then paying respects to Sant Guru Ravidas ji. So then I spoke to a lot of disciples. What is your priority? Priority क्या होता है जी? तो रोटी के लिए तो मजदूरी करना है, और उसके अलावा क्या होता है, और जितना अगर कुछ पैसा अगर कोई एक्स्ट्रा होता है तो गरीब लोगों का हेल्प करना है. तो ये अच्छा है. दिस थिंकिंग इज गुड. ये विचारधारा अच्छा है, लेकिन आप एक गोल लेके चलना है, एक सॉलिड गोल, एक गोल लेके आने वाले 25 सालों में मैं क्या करना चाहता हूँ, मैं कम्युनिटी क्या हासिल करना चाहती है. तो मैं बोलता हूँ कि हेल्थ एंड एजुकेशन, ये दोनों को अपना गोल लेके आगे बढ़ना है. दैट इज व्हाट आई फील. बाकी सब तो हो जाएगा. अब जब अट्रॉसिटी हो ही जाएगा, लाइक यू हैव Kairlanji kind of atrocity, or you have many Una kind of atrocities. If these things happen, anyway, we will, all the organizations will generally, fight for the survival. But when such kind of atrocities are not taking place, we must be focusing more on education and health. Is something which the message I want to give to all organizations. Yeah. Yes.
So one more question.
Yes.
What kind of obstacles do you face when you started Swaros?
First is credibility. People thought that this would be another Ambedkarite organization, and this guy is he's starting this organization only to prop up his image, and then he may be having a hidden agenda, or he may be planning to surrender all this organization to someone else.
Right.
So these were some of the misgivings people had. But in fact, first people were not willing to call this as Swero. It's such a difficult name. So, but
Yeah.
now people started believing. Now it is a great ideology. So everybody who calls, like earlier people use identity. So आप कहाँ रहते हैं? तो गांव के बाहर रहते हैं. तो आप कौन से जात के हैं? आप अपने जात बोलना है. So now all that is gone. So they are proudly saying that on the T-shirt they are printing, they're in the homes they are printing, on the walls they are printing, and they have the wristbands. And everybody is proudly saying that I'm a Praveen Swero, Pallavi Swero, Raju Swero, Ramesh Swero, okay, Sneha Swero. All these things are, it's a huge identity revolution. So initially there was a kind of doubt and mistrust. So it is happen. It is common with any organization, and then we also had that problem, but we survived. Yes.
Monica, we can ask our young IADF women wing SAS advice for our wing. Women
Yeah,
wing.
please.
Sir, recently we started IADF women wing, sir. What is your advice for us, sir? I think. Sir, am I audible?
Yes. Yes, you are audible.
Your advice for our women wing, sir. IADF women wing. We recently started, sir. We want your advice.
It's a very good initiative. Be the best wherever you are, and whatever you do, you must be the best in the field. That is the first advice I want to give. Work hard to gain as much experience and then expertise as possible. Third is never forget your roots, never forget your background. Always stay firmly rooted in your values and the community, and maintain as wider solidarity as possible. Connect to as many people as possible, and then have a common minimum program. That is very important, which is which will really help you connect to so many people in this country and the world, and learn the good thing wherever it is, whichever organization it is. So please learn those good things and then dovetail those good things into your ideology and the policies. And finally, again, I would say be the best and never feel inferior. So this is another advice for all the Swera women, IADF women doctors. Never feel inferior. Nobody can beat you, or you are neither inferior. You are equal rather. So that is what I want to say. So, and then remember the commandments, Swera commandments. It
Yes,
will
sir.
automatically make you equal. Yeah.
Sir, if
Yes.
a lot two more questions are there.
Yes. Please.
Okay, one question is how can we implement Swaros in northern India?
A very good question. So first is bring them to South India. Bring some leaders bring some well-meaning people to South India. Let them see what we have been able to do, and then we also would love to. Not that there is nothing happening. So in fact, all Dhara movements, all the reformatory movements, all of them started in northern India, like starting from Adi Dharma and Manguram, then you have Sant Ravidas, Manguram, then you have Swami Achitanand, then you have a lot of Baba Sahib, then you have L.R. Bali, so then you have Maharashtra, then north of India, there are a lot of reformatory movement. So we also have to learn a lot from northern India. So we have a lot of common features. So more and more we contact each other, more and more we visit each other, more and more we learn from each other's work. I think all of us will benefit immensely, and then we will achieve our goal in 2050.
Yes, sir, definitely.
And then also share a lot of good work, so that we can write about your good work, and then you can write about our good work, so that everybody learns from everybody. So it becomes a learning community. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And so the last question: how do you encourage children who are doing child laborers or who are beggars and not let them to go back in their work? What kind of motivation you give to those children?
First, I would take a lot of role models to the communities in which they are there. We can tell these role models to tell their story to the parents of those children. Then second thing I want to do is we can rescue those children by convincing the parents and put them in hostels and residential schools and disconnect them from the reality. So if you don't rescue these children, they will grow as adults within no time. And once they become adults, it is extremely difficult to transform them. Okay. So the first thing is we must take a lot of role models to the communities and inspire those communities. And second is, bring them and then keep them in residential schools and hostels. For example, I'll tell you, I went to Bihar. There is a place called Danapur near Patna. So there I met a lot of girls and boys from Mushahari community. So Mushahari community is one of the poorest of the poor communities in Bihar. So I met a lot of girls who have been rescued by a social worker called, I think, Anju George or Padmini George. So Padmini Varghese. So this lady collected all those girls and then giving them best possible education in those hostels. So otherwise those girls would have become beggars, or those girls would have become, victims of sexual abuse. So now today we have around 1,000 or 2,000 Mushahari girls are getting the best possible education. If every emancipated persons like you and me, if we go to those communities, rescue those children and keep them in the hostels and schools, I think, and take care of their upbringing, I think they will also become like you and me. So that is the message I have for all those people who want to rescue those beggars and then other children at risk. Thank you, Sonika.
Okay, thank you, sir. Sneha ma'am, you have any questions?
Yeah, no questions. But mainly, I want to thank you, Sonika, for arranging this webinar, and you are doing extremely amazing job. This women being everything, your work is amazing, and congratulations to IADF, all members of IADF and Ambedkar Caravan. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, ma'am. So I'll just conclude this webinar.
Yeah.
Sir, from this webinar, I learned two things, especially from your speeches. The first one is that when you dream big and work hard to achieve that dream. And,
absolutely.
Yeah, thank you so much. And the second thing, which even I also implemented in my life after meeting you through Dr. Kuanandan sir, we met you. And from there, I started doing this thing. And now also you told us that conversation should be changed. That story should be disclosed to everyone. And from this platform, I request all the viewers also, those who are who have seen such type of personalities in their life and who are doing something in their life, they should come and present their work. Then only our people will come to know the difference between the previous one and the current one. So thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Sorry about the technical problems, but I'm helpless with regards to current power. So thank you very much, sir. And I wish you all the very best. And may Baba Saheb Bashar his blessings on you. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. Even also I want to give my special gratitude to Dr. B.R. Ambedkar Caravan, IADF, and Mangesh Dahiwale sir for providing such a wonderful platform. And also I thank all the viewers for their presence. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Jai Bhim.